one time, and I asked Heather, I'm like, can I pull that one? Or she said, no, let them have it. And then wedding pictures looked great. Oh, thanks. Is that your brother?
No, my cousin Connor, yeah.
Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome back, especially to you, Glenn. Glad your health's on the mend, looking well. I know it's been a long road for you, but hopefully, I know that the community needs you, and we're glad to have you back.
Thank you.
So look forward to this moving forward. The other thing that I want to tell everyone here and just bring it up, I know our last couple of meetings didn't go as well, but I think one thing we all have to remember here is that I can't imagine how many emails, phone calls that people in this building get. And on the vice versa side, I don't think they probably understand or get how many complaints and things that we get that we bring to them with concerns. Only thing I'm saying is we need to start respecting what each other do, their jobs. I know we have a great auditor. The city's going in the right direction. The mayor's doing a good job. And we just need to make sure we're treating each other with respect, myself included. So, and I want to move forward. We just got back from recess. Let's get started on the right foot, the way that we need to start. Our city's doing good things. And I tell you, I told at a meeting the other night, I am proud to do this. When I go out and you know, the city is lucky, and you guys, we're lucky to represent the city because we vote on things that benefit the city. So again, let's just continue to treat each other with respect. And any guest or anyone else that comes here will treat us with respect as well. Okay, so first things first, we're gonna start with the ordinance committee. I imagine we have quite a bit to talk about with this. Rusty, you're first one on. So I'm done. So Rusty has sent an email about another lease agreement with for free internet service. So you just want to come up so we can hear you, and it's up here. So come on up. So we.
OTT, the company doing the broadband for the county, has requested access to our water tower in Roscoe and my tower at the fire department to put some equipment on to repeat that through the county, the internet. For that, they would give us 3 free internet connections to 3 buildings, which I've talked to Dave about it. He can benefit from it, and so can the fire department. So at this point in time, I don't think we need an ordinance. We just like to test it to make sure everything's gonna be kosher. And then if everything works, getting a lease agreement with them.
So it's for the fire department and 2 other
And
buildings.
2 of,
It's basically buildings that have emergency generators already for complete power.
Mhm.
You know, I know his building is 100% generator, water plant's 100% generator, wastewater is 100% generator. So those buildings have power in the event of an outage.
plus everything we're doing is, and him too, we're doing everything web-based. All my reporting's web-based, a lot of things, they're running the place on an iPad at times. So to have that redundant connection will be beneficial to us down the road. And there's been a time, I know Berlin, during the last storm, Berlin went 8 days without spectrum. And if we went 8 days without internet here, we'd be behind the times for sure.
So what are the conditions?
Amazing.
And just right now, they have 3, they would remind you of the old TV antennas, dishes on my tower that are pulling some signal in and then repeating it back out. And they're also gonna use that to give free internet for the fair too at this point in time. They work to deal out with fairgrounds. So the condition is basically just having space on our tower is what it comes down to.
Okay.
The tower that would be in Roscoe, the water tower, what impact will that have on, say, Roscoe or the Lake Park campground area? Will that give them better access to?
It will, and they're in contact with Tammy at Lake Park to work a deal out at Lake Park as well. They've discussed that, Sean.
Good, because I know we've talked to Tammy about that. I'm glad she's following up. It's
And they're
bad.
seeing some awesome speeds off the equipment they have up so far. They're seeing some really good speeds.
Thanks.
And sorry, Bob. The biggest connections coming in at Head Start Tower on County Road 16. So there's a huge redundant connections coming in straight from Columbus up to there.
Good. Bob?
The equipment's already on our tower.
It's on the firehouse tower and it's doing well so far. Well, they like to use the water tower as well to test it to make sure that it's gonna work before we enter into a lease.
And would this eliminate our space, or would we have other space in case somebody else came on?
I'd say the one at the water tower is getting pretty full one, so is the one at the firehouse. But I don't know if anything else that would want to go on because he's using some stuff for meters and there's some radio equipment on the 541 water tower, but the water tower at Roscoe.
Yeah, but that equipment's already existing and we want to test it, make sure there's no interference between those 2.
Because they put some equipment up so far and they're getting some interference on some other towers, so it's easier to put it up and test, make sure that the frequencies are within range before they start going. But I don't foresee us using any more radio equipment in the future because everything's going to the state equipment, which is whole separate.
What's the timetable? What are you looking at?
Next week, they'd like to put it up to see if it would work. It only took them about 8 hours to put it up on my tower, firehouse.
Does the city own that tower that's on the water?
Yeah, it's all worked out.
I just knew that Frontier Power had the emergency light or the red light on top of it, and they maintain it.
What are they using it for? They have radio equipment on
They did have, I think they went to Mark's.
there? Yeah.
Anyone else? Questions for Rusty?
So you come back to us, not probably the next meeting, but sometime in the future with the ordinance authorizing Max to sign a lease with this company.
Absolutely,
Then you'll just make sure that you communicate that with Amy.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you.
Yes,
And also,
sir.
the only thing I got real quick while I'm up is the properties on Poplar Street are closed. So we're just waiting on grant funding to tear them down. Port Authority's working on some grant funding. We end up buying 3 houses in that building, so.
So while you're standing there, I saw the trusses for the church come in.
They're sitting on the street, so they should be, and their plan is, the mayor and I were both down there, last Thursday or Friday? The plan is to put the trusses on the Walnut Street side first, so that they can move on from there and get the street opened up, but they're sitting there. The reason you still see the roof structure there, they're leaving that roof structure in place until they set the new trusses, so. But
Kind of read today where they said by October 31st.
Yeah, that's what they're saying, if all goes well.
Blame it on
Taking
COVID,
entirely too long.
COVID supply.
What had happened was they changed the design. Like, they changed the design and then the architect had to go in and change the truss design, so it added probably 3 to 4 weeks to that truss order.
I want to jump down to number 4. I think the mayor wants to talk about with maybe Roger and Tom and myself, maybe about ordinance 3322. And then we just need to schedule a time when all 4 of us can get together, right?
Yeah, actually, yeah, that one, as well as the gaming ordinance as well. I wanna,
We didn't pass that one yet, though, did we?
No.
We just have to review that one.
just review
That
that.
doesn't have a
ordinance.
number yet, though, either.
It's chapter 705 right now,
Okay,
so we might as well kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
okay. So we'll get together and see if we can find a date. We can get together. Okay. Rod, you brought up in an email about defining a vacant building.
I know Tom had done a lot of work on the vacant property ordinance. And then you had sent out a ordinance from Delphus and, looking at their definition of a vacant building, pretty much covers a lot of territory, but I kind of like the wording. It's pretty explicit. I don't know. I know Bob probably hasn't seen it, but I don't know if anyone else had a chance to take a look at that.
Send it to all the council.
Basically, a set of structures, unoccupied or unsecured, unoccupied, secured by other normal means, unoccupied and unsafe building as determined by the service safety director or his duly designated representative, unoccupied and having utilities disconnected, unoccupied and has housing or building code violations, illegally occupied, including loitering and vagrancy, unoccupied for a period of over 90 days, having existing code violations issued by the city or state, housing, building, health, or fire official, unoccupied with mortgage status of abandonment, unoccupied and abandoned by the property owner or evidence of vacancy. Any condition that on its own combined with other conditions would lead a reasonable person to believe the property is vacant. Such conditions include, but are not limited to, significantly below utility usage, overgrown dead vegetation, accumulation of newspapers, mail, trash, junk, and debris. So that covers a lot of area.
What's
It's
the,
almost word for word for ours.
what's the punishment, or what's it go on to say? Like,
I was just looking for a definition. I didn't look and see what the consequences were. It talks about registration.
Bring us toward the end, I think.
Civil penalty of 150 per day.
That's really what I think we need to do, some kind of daily. I mean, the more I look at it, the more we do have some in-town property owners, but we have a lot of out-of-town property owners that could care less and want us to clean their mess up. So something to get their attention. The problem is when you take the vacant property, then it becomes the city's vacant property, and they have to figure out a way to fund demolition.
Is that something, if we take vacant property, is that something we can turn over to the land bank?
Yeah, I mean, you can, but once again, there's only so much money for demolition. So I'm not saying I don't want to clean the town up. I want to clean the town up. We just have to get a creative way
wearing down.
If there's demo money there, I think through the state, we can definitely go after it, but that's the biggest issue is someone else's hot potato becomes our hot potato.
What's the average cost to tear a house down? Anybody know?
10 grand.
10 grand.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, I mean, I've been trying to put some more beef into it because nothing's happened, but I think, I mean, we got that report last time we were here or whenever that had a list of the vacant properties that were registered. There was not, unless I missed something, there was not one commercial building on that list. It's been registered. And you walk down Main Street past a building that you have to hold your breath to go by it. And what this ordinance has been in since 2018, and that building's never been registered. I don't understand that.
I think that's what's frustrating most of us. I know Tom and I, is that we have it on the books and it's on the books. That's it. And I know we don't have time for someone to go out and inspect it, but we need to make time. If we want to clean up our town, we need to make time to enforce our ordinances.
One of the biggest problems you've got with that ordinance is it says that any portion of the building is occupied, the entire building is considered occupied. We've been after the one down on Third Street beside Sorrell's. One of the owners is living upstairs, so that makes that whole building occupied. You've got Moon has got people in all his buildings except for the People's Building. He's got one apartment or one office rented, makes a whole building is, it's now occupied.
Didn't the taxi company move out of that one
He
building?
had
there?
another one move in.
Is there another one in
There's
there?
another one moved in. He had another tax company that worked for one that moved out, and they started their own and they moved in. So he just, he's flying. The only one he has is people. And, we've been trying to get something dead center off of that. Muni rate has really not done anything. Muni rate sends out letters. The understanding of Muni rate is supposed to be if you don't get anything back, you forward it to Bob and Bob takes care of it. Muni rate has done nothing. All they do is if we get something in, we're done.
I understand all the ones that he has excuses for. People's Building, does he have an excuse?
He's got no excuse for people.
Uh,
So we
let's-
go after that one.
Let's check with Denise this week. He's in California, but once she gets back, let's just charge him with
File.
yeah, no more warnings, just get file.
Okay.
Now, yeah. Did we ever serve Devin again with the library and with the Nahoco building or the?
It was charges. I don't know if it's been served. The road guys usually serve those.
Can you check tomorrow to see if that will get served again?
Yep. And if not, those type of things, I'll just go ahead and start serving those myself. That leaves it to the road guys.
How about the Ansel property?
Ansel property has been secured. I talked to the guy last week, because we had a break-in, somebody broke into the fence, but it's never been registered. And he's, I guess he probably has not been notified because he's had it now long enough to make him notified, so we need to let him know when he's registered.
Yeah, and they,
But again, Muni rate should have jumped, I'm not the buck, but that's what we contracted them for them to do that.
Let's just skip them, give him notice on the Edmondson, we'll just cite into.
Okay.
I had a conversation with the owner of the Edmont property. And I wish I would have recorded it so I can show the community how it really makes me feel. It wasn't a very pleasant conversation, and he just went on to basically say that he thought the Port Authority was gonna get him demo money and they were gonna mow it and maintain it. And I basically said, I'm not your dad. Like, I don't, I shouldn't have to tell you to mow it, and take care of it if you own it. Like, let's figure something out. But basically, he said he's waiting to see if he can secure demo money or funding. And I said, we're not waiting any longer. Like your time, your days are numbered. So,
So we're gonna serve him,
yeah.
right?
Well, he's been working on tearing that down.
He
No,
hasn't
so
done, the
this
guy's been
is-
there now and done
right.
anything.
No, he bought it, right.
All the demo that was done has been done prior to him.
Right, it was bought by the person who owns the N building that's now, she's in there and warehousing. That lady sold the additional property to someone in
He's in Western.
West, yeah, in
Westerville, over in that
Columbus
area.
somewhere. And like I said, I
Kayla
had a
Builders.
personal conversation with him, and, you know, his thing was it sat there for this long, and I said, yeah, it ain't gonna sit there much
And see, the
longer.
problem there again with her, when she owned it, she had occupied a portion of the building, so the whole building was
Right.
exempt.
So Bob, before we serve notice on someone, do we have to go through Muni Reg?
No,
So we can just go ahead and do
Just
it?
go, yeah.
we're not paying them to do anything, are we?
No,
So let's just.
No,
let's just
they're-
skip that. What I
right,
want to do is I want to make it, I don't know that even if we cite these people into court and fine them, it's really gonna fix those problems. What I want to do is make it so that people from out of town stop coming in and buying these vacant buildings
All right,
just to hold for 5 years, hoping that
hoping something happens, you know.
GM moves in.
And
How
see,
about
now,
how about the novelty building?
Nobody is back up for sale. So our ordinance gives them 12 months exemption because it's listed with a realtor.
right.
And that was one thing Tom wanted to take out. But he has, now in a conversation I had with Moon tells me all his properties are insured. I haven't seen any documentation, he tells me they're all insured. So I told him that we were gonna be changing things and he's not sure he's going, so he said they already have that.
This ordinance is currently up for third vote today, right?
Correct.
Without changes you're talking about now, but it has the insurance in there.
Insurance and the key box, and then it eliminated for sale by owner.
I think we ought to, in my opinion, we ought to go ahead and approve it, and then if we need to change it again down the road, we change it. But let's get something more stringent on the books now and enforce it.
Okay. So with that, we have to vote to untable it under additions,
Okay.
okay? And then we'll give the third reading.
Bob, can that be pushed then with dogs already being listed really, or is that grandfather?
Well, they're with the, are they selling it themselves or
No,
then,
it's with a realtor.
then it still falls under the exception?
Okay.
I know someone was going to go look at that building, but I don't know if they did yet or not. But it would become a business if they buy it.
Anybody else?
I was hoping to close that deal, Roger.
I know he wants to look at it.
Okay.
I don't
So
know.
real quick, before we, I know that Sherry's ordinances, they need passed tonight. Been 2 months, so she needs to pay some bills. So those all need passed. Don't forget when we do the to skip the second reading, okay? So we'll do the first reading. Correct me if I'm wrong, you make a motion to skip the second reading, go directly to the third reading. Is that correct, Bob?
Yes.
On the emergencies, okay, then we'll need a motion to do that, and we'll go right to the third reading. Okay, any other ordinances?
3922, we can get that passed tonight, so we can get that stuff signed and start building that thing. We can't, that's for the cell tower.
Do you have the contract for that?
Yeah, I don't have it with me. Off of it, Here, 30 years. What's the total mark, 397?
500,000. Yeah, it's 500,000, 30 years.
Get that like $4,000 up front.
No, we're gonna get more than that now. I think it's like 13,000
Another
up front.
cell phone
That way
tower.
it made it even 500,000.
Where are they putting it?
Behind the water tank at the water
Alright.
treatment.
Whole
plant.
piece of grass back by behind the tanks. 50 by 50.
So how much per year?
Hold on, I'll pull it up. It's 12 to 15,000 that goes up to
Okay.
amortizes.
Hopefully not 500,000 either.
No, I wish.
Yeah.
Small
what we
victories,
tried.
Tom. Small, believe me, we asked for the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a little more lucrative when the school done it. The one there's many of them, I guess. It'll actually help sell service here in town as well.
About 16, 17 years.
I'm sure everything's white.
Right. Probably.
Right, Brian, your ads.
Brian, yeah, I thought it was.
I know.
Yeah, I thought it was Martinez.
And we get the lake park.
Maxwell, he's looking that up. Do you have anything else?
We will, next, this is for next meeting. Be an ordinance for the RA to do a new lease agreement with Jefferson County for the alternative school. And we're actually going to raise their yearly rate to from 10,000 to 17,500. We have put a little bit of money in it this year, we put all new lights in the classroom area or gymnasium area, I guess is what that was. And have about 7,000. So it's going to need a roof in the next several years, so we have some money in the bank to.
I talked to them about the increase and they were really pleased with that. They had no problems with that increase. They like the site, they want to continue it, and they like the improvements we're making,
I
so.
hope so.
Probably split by all three school districts.
Yeah, I think there's,
Yeah, should do it on a yearly basis.
that's what probably just.
This includes utilities.
Yeah, we pay the utilities.
Utilities
We plow
aren't
the
getting-
snow, we mow the
Utilities aren't
grass.
getting cheaper.
Well, I'll give you.
Check
the
your
tip.
records, nobody do
Every year,
Sending you, I have a whole package, so I'm sending that
We
to you
sent
right
it
now.
to.
Yeah, I'll send it to both.
Is that it,
I
Max?
got it. I already got it.
You got it.
I did, I talked, you told them about, I don't know if you want to do it during committee or during the council about going into executive session to talk about purchase of real estate.
We'll need to go into executive session.
Yeah, I didn't know if you want to do it this meeting or the next meeting, but I don't. think you
We'll do it at the end of council with no business to follow. Okay. I got an email from, and Max, did you look at the vacant, or I'm sorry, the request for alley vacation? Did you look at that from
That's
Lisa
one
Reed?
for RHCD.
Yeah,
I have no problem vacating now, we just have to follow. the ordinance. Just do that, I've never actually done one, I haven't been done for a long time, but I don't see a reason why we wouldn't do that.
So they need to go through the process of having a survey file petitions.
yeah, they need to do that, right?
That's
Well, and
right.
I told her if there's no interest on you guys then, she should probably come here and talk to you first, because if there's no interest and you're not, if there's a chance it's not gonna be allowed, there's no reason to survey it, there's no reason to pay
Right.
$1,000, you know, so I was like, is she gonna come? Is she coming next meeting?
She
You
didn't
know?
say,
Okay, cool.
But- but I
think
wanted to
she
ask you
said-
guys, because if
Yeah,
you guys had the interest, then.
Right, I don't
have-
care,
I've always
the
thought
chief has to clear it. Yeah, it's more of a
Pop right out
cut
there
through
on
than
the
anything, and they're going to improve that property even more by tearing that old laundromat down.
Does council know what we're talking about?
I sent out an email last night.
So where the RHDD is, and there used to be a little laundromat. I think that used to be,
And then extend the sidewalks.
furniture store there at one time.
Yeah.
There's now it runs through there, and people
Yeah.
look out through there and then they pop out on Main.
Right.
Yeah, it's a little short sheet. It's hard to see people.
Yeah, it is.
I don't have any problem with vacating it.
Okay.
I have a question for Max real quick.
Yeah.
10th and Oak, I see the lines marked out. Is that the start the process on that?
We're just a quick update, and that we just made that decision today, actually, it's because of the gas line going down 10th, or, sorry, down Oak. We're actually going to run it out 10th to the Red Sea, and just create another outfall that we'll have to monitor.
Okay.
It's just too much stuff in the way, but we'll have the catch basin on all 4 corners, they'll be tied in. I'd say it'll take us a week, maybe.
Okay, thank you.
Max, the sidewalks, same spots are torn up in Roscoe.
Okay, hold on a second, guys. Let's finish the ordinances here.
Oh.
Before we,
Thought we were on Max.
no.
Pounce on the roast.
You get a reprieve, Max.
Yeah, you get a break.
Are there any other ordinances that need to be discussed for the next meeting? Or a resolution?
I will have a resolution for next council meeting. It's the one that we have every year, resolution accepting the amounts and the rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor. So they're showing estimated for our property tax that goes into the general fund, $498,437. That's inside millage of 2.5 mils. Our street levy fund, 2.4 mils, 454,678. There's a higher revised code, 0.3 of a mil. It's $59,812 that is required by law to go into the fire pension fund. So it's just one reading, and Amy, I haven't already saved, so I'll just send it to you. So
Anything else? Oh, Bob?
Mayor, do we need to do anything with the health department merger next council meeting?
No, I'd like to actually get that passed tonight if we can, unless you want to wait till
I don't
next
think we
one.
have the ordinance. but
Oh, I thought the ordinance was ready to go.
Is it?
Is it the health ordinance ready to go? Yeah, so, okay.
Do you want to look at it?
Yeah.
I thought outside counsel talked to you, said he was gonna
So
send
he
it.
sent me an email with the proposed ordinance and it was fine,
Okay,
but I didn't see it on the agenda that he sent to me last week. I think it was.
okay.
This is the same ordinance that I saw from Tim, that's fine.
It should be. I
Do
don't
we
know
have
how much
the resolution numbers to fill in here on the blank
they're from the city health and from,
from the county and?
so the county's verbally approved it. They haven't voted because they have sent it to outside counsel. So I don't know, can we need that, because four different people have to pass something, us being one.
Shouldn't we have that information in there though before we pass it?
Well, it's just the agreement, you're passing the ordinance that authorizes the agreement. But I like those numbers to be in there. Yeah, doesn't need to be, if the mayor needs this passed, no, we pass
Okay,
ordinances approving contracts all the time without the contract, so
okay.
at least we have the contract, it's just
so
not.
then you'll get me all
filled
these
in.
I'll get
at a
it,
later
yes.
date.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
Actually, I'll
actually,
just give you this to take.
Yes.
as well.
yes.
He takes it down.
Okay.
Okay, Sherry, auditor's report, you have anything?
Um,
Nothing there, it looks like.
Nothing there. Other than the resolution, I did want to ask you about, bring up to you our credit card policy that we have that was passed under ordinance 1020 back in February of 20. The limits for purchase, it's no purchase shall exceed a spending limit of $5,000. we've just run into a situation where more and more expenses, like if we do have to use a credit card, are actually exceeding that. Dave had some parts that he needed to buy. They need to, be bought online. It's over $5,000. So I feel like we could easily, I'm comfortable moving that up to $10,000 per card. Because I feel like we have really good controls in place to monitor our credit cards, and we have sign outs. Dave has a card on his person, and Rusty, because they're 24-hour operation. The other cards have to be signed out, and I just think we keep a really good handle on those. So I'm comfortable with that, but since it's a policy, I needed to bring it to you and ask you if you'd be willing to change that and amend that so I can increase the credit limit to $10,000 per card. And we have 4 cards.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you gotta operate.
Yeah, do it, yeah, do it.
Can't buy-
I'll get Amy the ordinance number then and a copy of the policy I have it saved so I can change the amount on there for you.
As long as you're comfortable with it.
I'm comfortable
You're
with it,
responsible, so.
Yeah. I'm fine with it.
Okay.
Other than that is, if anybody has any questions on, I sent out a ton of transfers. If I just wanted to touch base on the high dollar ones, if you recall the ARPA funding, I made internally the reclassifications according to what Mark and, we discussed the fire hydrants. So you see out of water distribution salaries, $100,000 to a new water capital improvement fire hydrant. Same with water filtration salaries, $100,000 to fire hydrants. And the next largest one is street salaries. I would reduce those 200,000 and for you to transfer to a new line item that will be street capital improvement, alley, street paving and equipment. See 2 larger ones down at the bottom. We typically only appropriate about $85,000 in the general fund for street lighting. And we've already, as we all know, and our electric bills have all gone up. So we're pretty much through that. So instead of just doing new appropriation to it, I just picked your line items, Mark. Mayor salary service, safety service director, just to transfer out of those because they were reduced
I'll
because of
keep
the
lights. I'll keep the
ARPA. You'll
lights
keep the
on.
lights on.
On that note, we are going to LED 2024 finally, like I've been asking, hey, AEP, can you do this? I think I got word the other day that they are 2024 going to switch us out to LEDs. Well, it's depending on where they go and who gets it first, but I'm going to try to push that we get that
Good
first.
deal.
And there is the one transfer you see there from the American Rescue Plan admin to essential worker. That's just to basically move that from that admin line that we had originally appropriated it into. So just switch it over and I can finish wrapping up those journal entries for the ARPA funding. Yeah, and lodging fund, the lodging has increased, so we need to do some additional appropriations for there in the lodging bureau. So that's good. That's good news. Yeah.
Yep. Anything else?
I think that's it.
Okay. Anybody else? Anything else? I know on the safety services, Acorn Lane, they tried it. It's back to two-way because of the mail and the trash pickup, mail delivery. Mark had called me and I think everybody was pretty much in agreement. We tried it, we went back. And, it's got to take some things into consideration when we do those. Okay, Mark, Mayor, you got anything?
No, nothing's going
Nothing-
on.
nothing's
here.
been going
Let's
on?
see here, where to start.
Okay, Matt, you're up.
I'm glad I could see you all after a month break. I don't really know where to start. So we're going to review those ordinances at some point. Talking today, I have a steering committee together for a grant through, it's a technical assistance grant through the ARC, the National Forest Service, the EPA, multiple other organizations are involved for connecting outdoor recreation to your community, especially downtown. So not a lot of money is going to be flowing in from that. But what it does, and it's a perfect timing with the Ohio Builds money, and I'm going to fast track this as quick as I can so we can get assistance. It doesn't really flow through a lot of funding dollars initially, but what it does is it connects a plan to all those organizations who are connected to all those funding dollars. So it's a perfect time in my mind that, you know, the governor is committed $500 million to Appalachia. And we are working on this just in time to maybe in conjunction with that, connect something to that money or potentially something else. So it's not just here's your money, do whatever you want. It's more of a, how are we going to connect? There's a gentleman from the Muskingum watershed. We just recently went to a meeting where they're going to extend trails in the Wills Creek area, like 15 to 20 miles of trails. So, you know, how do we connect that with downtown? How do we connect Woodbury with downtown? How do we connect all that so you have one package so people come and enjoy? So talk to them today. So basically the steering committee is the chamber, our town, myself, the Port Authority, and the CVB. I think hopefully I didn't miss anyone. So those people are on the steering committee. It went great. We're going to welcome the group in from, one lady was from New Hampshire, Vermont. Someone else is from Kentucky. So there are people from across the United States who are going to help us out with this. Hickory Street lot will be advertised in the paper for the next 5 weeks. The minimum bid is 18.5. So if anyone's interested, bring your bid, sealed bid to City Hall. Property water treatment plant area, we're going to talk about that in regular council. Paving is complete in the city. I know everyone wanted their street paved. If I had an open checkbook, I'd pave every street in Coshocton. So really, it just.
The ones you did look nice. You've done a great
We
job.
tried. We actually got 2 less done because money. So, you know, I feel everyone's pain. There are, I know where every street that needs paved still, like I know, I drive the streets and we have work to do, but I think we've got a lot of paving done. Roscoe is done. Roscoe is getting striped. Unsure of a date. Do you have any?
Week the 19th.
The week of the 19th. So we'll have parking stalls painted and a line down to Hill Street, stop bar on Hill Street. So we will complete that project. Want to remind you guys, like March 31st of this next year, Kimball contract is up. So we might want to start looking at that towards the end of the year and figure out. I was notified that Rumpke is going to be in our area, and that's a possibility for a bid from the solid waste.
They were pretty high last time.
Right,
We
so,
Yeah.
but they're opening a transfer station in Zanesville back up, so they will be, so they'll be back in the bidding process possibly. Couple of weeks ago, I spoke at the inaugural event of the Ohio Blockchain Council, and wanted to invite you guys. There's a ribbon cutting at Standard Power this coming Monday, September 19th from 11 to 3. Anyone's invited, everyone's invited. If you want to see what they do, if you want to understand the process, they're going to have explanation. There's going to be people here from the Ohio Chamber, the Blockchain Council will be here. It is very emerging industry, and it will be definitely a good thing for our community. So a couple stop signs I'm working on, 3rd and Locust, 4-way stop. Park Avenue and Walnut Street, proposing that we make that a three-way stop. I did put signs up on Walnut. I consider that a school zone still, so being that Sacred Heart's there, that area needs a stop. And as far as I'm concerned, we could put a traffic light there. ODOT says it doesn't warrant a traffic light. The cost to put a traffic light there is probably 10 times, 20 times more than just putting some flashing stop
The one
signs
there
up.
inoperable.
It's old and I think they've robbed parts off of it, and I'm not yet. But there's a bus stop across from Given Dawson on Park. There's a bus stop on the one-way on 10th Street, right on that corner of Walnut and 10th Street. So there's kids there. I debated whether to put a light up, turn it to flashing. To me, the stop is the best way to go to actually slow people down. And I will, at the next council meeting, have a traffic report on averages speeds through there. So I'll update you on that. Oak Avenue and North 10th, it will be started. I'm excited. I know they're excited. It's only been maybe next year for the last couple, 3, 6, 10 years. So we will have that. I think that's all I have. I already mentioned out-of-town property owners. We need to figure out a way to make sure people live here and take care of their property. Grass, we're going to start really being out. Jeff has been at the school filling in as a school resource officer because grass can be high, but I wanted to make sure kids are safe first. So it's kind of one of those things that I offered him up for the school, and he went and he did what he needed to do. So he will tentatively be back
I just got the word from Mark, he was okay.
tomorrow. Okay, so he will be back tomorrow. I have a list of addresses already. If anyone else has a list of address, if you got any addresses, let me know. And let Jeff know.
I sent one to Jeff Friday, I think, the alley beside the Elks at property, I think it's 232 North Fourth.
Yeah, that's I'll talk off record.
And then the
about
CBHC needs to mow.
the new parking lot.
Terrible.
Yeah, so,
It's been that way for 6 weeks.
right.
I don't want to butt in, you need to also keep in mind, we've lost our mowers. So it's gonna be a slow process. We're gonna try, Public Works is gonna try to work the grass in with their people. If that doesn't work, we have a contingency to hire a lawn care service. It's already in the contract with the city, but that would be more expensive to do.
Great, so we'll work through it, and if people just took care of their property and mowed their grass, that would help us out, it'd be amazing, so. We would enjoy that as well. So I think, unless anyone has any questions,
Questions for the mayor?
I just want to follow up to Max too, that I received contact from people on Cascam Hollow, Tomahawk, small street down by the mobile home park,
zero.
Street, and the Spittler Hill residents, very grateful for the paving and what a good job they thought was done. So I'm passing that on.
No, you guys got a lot of complaints, so at least they're say thank you.
That with Spittler Hill, talking about Spittler Hill and that pavement, Max reached out to Kimball today to say, do not bring a heavy loaded truck up that hill.
There was already a concern last week about the cul-de-sac, and the truck was
Right. So
not too
we're
kind to the new pavement.
right. So we're definitely monitoring that situation.
Good.
They came late again today.
Like what time late?
It was afternoon.
11. Afternoon?
Well, it might have been about 11.
You know how you can tell you're getting old?
There's a lot of reasons.
You know when the trash truck comes
Oh,
through. I tell my parents that, so. So like 11 to noon somewhere.
They were at least partially of it. They scuff it up. They haven't really peeled it or anything, but.
Right, we just don't
You
want
see the
that.
tire tracks.
Mhm.
Any other questions for the mayor? All right, Max, you're back on the firing line.
Yeah, you stole most of my thunder on the table. We are, Kevin is going out and getting quotes. You know, we got that money from the capital budget for sidewalk repairs in Roscoe. So Kevin's getting some quotes. I'll see if any of our local contractors will do that work for us. So I don't think it'll exceed 50 grand, so we shouldn't have to do it. Baseball seems to be done for the year, so the guys are going over on a lot of other projects.
We do the sidewalks, as the gas company come in, turn them.
Yeah, they
This is
tore the
correct.
same exact.
Yeah, same spot.
Haven't heard anything yet on the Nature Works grant. Hopefully we'll get that, get the whole part completed. The big thing that happened, you guys, was in recess was Harold Hitchens passed away. And I think the world of Harold, he done a lot of good work for the city that we didn't really pay for. And so with Harold being gone, we're probably going to have to look at contracting is the right word, but somebody, engineering associates, one of those companies on retainer, provide us engineering, because with well, anytime, say, Wendy's come in, you know, Harold was the guy that reviewed all the hydraulics for stormwater. The engineer to figure all that out. So it will cost us some more money. Engineering services. Of that nature. Just had to hear about him passing, so it's kind of hit to us. This is it, so I should say kind of done as it is. Warsaw, we did get notification when you guys was out that they goes 50% forgiveness for the design phase after they reviewed the notes that how Warsaw's water situation actually was. So that'd be about $500,000. Design is about $1 million for that project. So we've already got 900 and some from the Army Corps of funding money that we could put with that and cover the design. Dave and I has talked, we think we'd like to get a meeting together with their mayor and Mike Baker, who's pseudo function as our village administrator this time. And sit down with them, kind of run through the numbers, see if it's a viable project for them, kind of get Ben Howard involved, see how much we would estimate that we would get additional funding, what the residents would have to pay in addition to just the water service to pay that line off. You're gonna make the loan payments on that line. So that's kind of on the horizon out there for us to do that. Anybody have any questions on that?
Can I ask you a question on the White Woman or Roscoe capital budget
Yeah.
funding?
Yes.
I haven't received anything.
Right.
Is there anything that
There's
I need to
paperwork that
do
Angela
or
has.
anything that? Do I need to sign anything for that? I just don't know.
You will.
Okay.
Yeah. Not eight, there's 12 pages that Angie and I is working on right now. As far as out of the 36 that they sent me that we have to fill out.
Okay.
When I come to something that's why I told her, I said, when we come to these pages.
Okay. And how much was that again?
60.
60,000. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you.
I got a couple of things. As far as the engineering, is it possible to utilize the county engineer?
They will assist us right now. They said Fred said he would help us out.
Okay. The other thing, did Kevin verify the voltage all going across the bridge on those lights?
I don't know if he did. Let me call you tomorrow. We
Okay,
talked about it, but I don't want to give you a firm answer. I think it's all where to be compatible. I'll make sure verify that before I send it off. And where to go? Spent August doing the typical, still patching, doing all that good stuff. I don't know if we had any major water breaks really to speak of. Knock on wood.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up.
Nice job.
Would like to commend Rusty and his team. That's a pretty significant fire at Cleveland Cliff. Is it 2 weeks now?
Last week, right?
Last week.
Yeah.
40 feet in the air is pretty high flames, so we had to utilize a lot of foam to get that fire out. So we had to purchase a lot more foam. Of course, that's something very cheap for a lot of us before, so. They've done a great job along with the other fire departments that got called out on that, so. That's all I have, unless there's other questions.
Anybody else have anything for Max? Roger, you done beating on him?
Yep. I know I forwarded him an email that I had received. Seemed to be an ongoing email since last Friday night. I also sent a copy to the sheriff.
Yeah.
Regarding speeding and noisy vehicles in the area of Lynn and Wilson. So I'm sure that I know sheriff followed up. So hopefully that'll get resolved and then you don't have to worry about any more emails.
Did you get today's email?
Yes.
Garrison's following up on that one.
And I followed up with the sender of the email and I talked to the department who employee they were complaining about, so. That's all I'll say about that one.
That's enough said. Okay, council will recognize during council meeting that we got law director's report from July and August. Bob, you have anything else?
I know the mayor mentioned the Kimball contract, and I was one of the last time we were here, brought that to his attention. I worry about that because first, I think there's a 4th year option, which I'm assuming none of you are in favor of. But second, I know that there's probably with the increased price of gasoline and diesel and increased cost of labor, that contract is going to go extensively up. And I know you all been concerned about maybe having little smaller trucks rather than the bigger ones. So I really think council ought to have a committee together to start talking about the bid specs for this so that the administration can get that bid, get an ordinance authorizing the bid, get the bids out. Because, even if we get this done in January, the new contractor has to have time to come in and get the containers. Kimball has to have time to get the containers out of there. So that is one contract that just can't be done like that.
Is it common practice for us to put bids out, spec the bids, and the company making a bid creates their own criteria for that bid? Because that's what happened last time. They basically said, no, here's our contract. And if we're putting specs in the bid, that's what should be bid on.
Well, I mean, their bid has to be responsive to our specifications, and our specifications last contract was for recycling and trash, and they were the lowest bidder. Now, I realize we put a clause in there that said if we're not happy, and they basically ignored that, which is fine. You can put that in the contract specs too.
Well, I think they make some
Primarily.
additions though to the proposed contract.
And then we changed, if you remember, recycling went from every week to every other week to try to get the price down to what we had.
I'm just saying this is not an easy contract, and I think this one's gonna be more difficult than most. So I would highly recommend you guys start talking about this now so that the administration is not in February trying to get a new
I agree.
contract.
And I just seen,
Volunteer my
received a text
services.
from somebody that lives in the county that they're actually subbing out trash pickup. And they're bill increased by $5 a month.
I mean, the issue becomes manpower, and I think they have some manpower issues.
The problem down with Rumpke is they're running the same trucks Kimball's are.
Well, I know the other company that bid was Waste Away, and they said they had smaller trucks.
They had all little trucks,
Yeah.
but it was an increase of like $6.
And.
But if we would have not
cost,
had
right.
recycling, it'd have been cheaper.
Right.
I know my son has Waste Away in Newark, and they never have a complaint with them, so. But I know we have to bid it.
So move to Newark.
I want to do that. I want their waste services to come to Coshocton.
But you can have the specs in there for the smaller trucks. Now,
Right.
I thought the mayor explained the last meeting, it would not. Wait,
It's the same weight.
but that's, again, that's things you guys should be discussing as to what to put in the specs.
Actually, a shorter truck has a smaller wheelbase, which actually puts more pressure on the road than the double axle. truck.
They sold you on that idea?
I mean, they're the truck people.
Well, and they sold. you on that idea. I don't believe.
They're
it.
all heavy.
I'm not buying
They're
it.
all- You know, they're all heavy.
A lot of the problem is them stopping too fast. It's no different than what you get into with a tow motor in a plant. You know, you got a little vapor on,
Yeah,
and you
let's
stop
get rolling.
quickly on a semi-trailer, you're as likely to go through the floor of the semi-trailer.
Have plenty of
It's no
time.
different than out on the city streets, you stop quick and something has to give and it's the blacktop. So.
Well, I agree with what Bob said. We ought to get on it now. That way we have plenty of time to look at what's out there, and
Who wants to be on that committee?
I've been the one complaining for 7 years, so I guess I'll volunteer.
I'd be glad to be on it.
Anybody else feeling froggy?
Kayla likes to talk trash.
DNA.
It's the,
What about somebody from the administration?
I think I'll be on it.
Well, we'd have to announce a meeting, right? Committee meeting,
Got three, yeah.
I mean, it doesn't, I mean, we just have to announce it. Amy can post it. I mean, it's gotta be done. I agree with Bob. It's gotta be done. Not like we're gonna be meeting every day.
Well, if it's a council 7 members, so wouldn't we have to have 4 to make it a meeting?
I'm talking sunshine laws.
That's what I'm talking. It's gotta be a majority.
Three.
You know, if there's 3 elected officials together, then that's sunshine laws.
I guess they're gonna have to be a majority of the
That's what
7.
they should always go to your training.
Two of you have beer in your hand, then it's not.
Right.
That's the only way to avoid it.
I like
Anyone else want to be on that committee? Dave? That's enough.
Do we still have copies of the proposals from the previous bidders?
It's a great question.
Probably in emails. I think it's all emailed to us.
Yeah, you should. I can have Bob watch for it. That's what I think. I know he
Who
had.
does?
I said Cherry probably kept a file on
That's
it.
what I think.
She kept files for everything.
There's a file.
Yeah. Well, no, because it would have been a bid process, so there'd be open bids. I mean, so.
I believe the extension year 5 was $19 and something for that extra year. Let's go up.
I mean, it's just, you never know. You go from bad to worse.
Okay,
Gotta take a chance.
I'll give you the dice. You
Gotta
roll.
take a chance. You know, we can't continue to have the
No,
insurance
right.
we've been having.
okay, so I need, who wants to chair that committee?
Kaylee does.
Roger.
Roger, yeah, right, Roger.
You'll email everybody when you want to know, once you start getting stuff together, right? For-
Sure.
Okay. Okay. Mr. K Drive.
I've been able to report out while you were gone. Just any questions or anything?
Are we showing any, I was trying to figure out the chart on the income. Looks like it's
Yeah,
going
looks like it's
down
going down.
with the rate increase.
Well, Sharon and I talked about that a little bit, that's a cumulative total for the year. So in those 2 months, we had a couple of big bills. We paid like the $200,000 to pay for the contractor on the 8th and 9th Street job. This year, the revenue's up, so the line's going the other way because we got Corps of Engineer money. Yeah, so, next month we'll see it going the other way, but that month it went down because of large payments to the contract for that water line job.
I said the same thing.
We
Why is
finally
it still
received
going
the
up?
final reimbursement from the U.S. Army Corps of $135,000 from the West Lafayette project.
What was that, 10 months ago, Sherry?
Yeah, we've been going after them for quite a while, so we finally received it.
Any other questions for Dave? SPP, you guys all got the email? I sit on those meetings and I don't know everything that they're doing. I know Mark and Max know quite a bit. Lanny, do you want to give us anything else? I hate to put you on the spot not knowing, but I'm just, SPP is working really hard for the city. They've gotten us some money. They're working to get other money. Abigail's supposed to be sending me the August report, and then I will forward that out to everybody. And if you have any questions, I know Sherry had a question. I think you figured that one out, right? So, if you ask, because I emailed Abigail and then whenever you asked, and then I emailed her, she had the answer that you figured out. So that's why I never responded to you. So they don't mind the questions. So if you have questions, ask. And they don't mind it at all.
Yeah.
And I think they're very responsible. Lanny was entertaining at the last one. So
Well, we're not gonna get into that.
No, we won't. But do you have anything?
Yeah, I mean, look, SPP, I was telling Mark the other day that it's nice that we now have a third party that's retained by you, that you pay, that's in on all these meetings as they were today with the EPA grant. Abby was there, and then they provide the perfect back channel too when you need to get back to those general consultants and the people at the Fed. They have a direct line there where we can just cut through it, get the answers we need, so then we can respond accordingly and do what we have to do to ultimately bring the money back in. If not for them, we wouldn't have received 45,000 for the Selby appropriations, and Roscoe wouldn't have received the 60,000 that they did. So I think that money actually exceeds their yearly retainer. They've already earned at least that and brought a little bit more back in, and that's really just the beginning of what they've done. But at the end of the day, we're paying to have an ear in the room at the State House and at the level of the federal government. Now, the EPA grant was actually a Mark and Lanny thing that we did last minute, but having them involved in that effort certainly tries to amplify that. We also have a USDA grant program coming up, which we're not ready to announce that yet. That's an our town project, and another one. And they're willing to be on the ground level. They're willing to be present, but at the end of the day, they're putting in their resources and connections is just building what we're already doing. So from our opinion, we're really impressed by the work so far. I think they're really just getting started. I mean, when you hire a lobbyist or a consultant, that can take a year or more to build up those connections and relationships, and they really hit the ground running. I don't think council could be more satisfied really with what's going on there so far.
Every meeting,
Not over yet.
they've got their P's and Q's ready to roll, so.
No, I think what it does, it puts us, we're always top of mind when they're in the State House. It's
Right.
like, hey, and then they know what direction we're heading. And then anything, like Tom said, anything that you guys can think of that you want to see done or want to see them do, I'm sure we can talk to them, and
Yeah.
anytime
get us
you ever
answers.
want to meet, yeah.
Abby's really good, and she's pretty good at what she does. Anybody else? Lanny, you have anything?
I'll go, I think Chad was gonna talk about something, but I can jump in.
Go ahead, man.
Steals glory, Lanny.
No, go right ahead.
Just, we wanted to recap on the summer concert series. It was a tremendous success. We estimate, and we'll get the data for it, for the 3 days that we had for the 3 acts, you're talking about a $250,000 economic impact. And it cost us about 40,000. We hit that number right on the bring in. So $250,000 generated in the downtown, mainly through the establishment and alcohol sales. Dora was also in effect for that as well. We are going to be doing a fundraising push to get money for next year. The sooner that we've got the dollars in hand, we can book the acts now. We've already decided 3 was great. We're going to do 4. We will have 1 in September. We already have an idea of what we'll be booking. I do appreciate everyone that has either my cell phone numbers texting and telling me who they want booked. Because there's nothing else, there's not scaffolding at the Selby or anything else going on right now. I appreciate that. Try to get back to everyone. I took a few weeks after the concert series, so I'm just catching up and getting back to it, but it was a tremendous success. I think we're out of vacation mode. It's time to hit the ground running and get it done and do it even better next year. But I never mind being put on the spot, so I'll actually put city council on the spot just real briefly. As you know, we are very thankful for a $10,000 appropriation that we get. That means our town, Coshocton, costs the city of Coshocton about $27 a day. So if we're contributing to bringing $250,000 and over a 3-day period, and if you take the 25,000 generated at the pub crawl through Dora, which we were heavily involved in getting that passed, in that day alone, you're talking $925 coming back for every dollar you invested in us that day. And for the 3 concert series day, that cost the city about $81 if you go by that $27 figure. So not to terribly put you on the spot, I don't want an award for anything. We're rewarded by having a vibrant downtown. But as you do consider appropriations this year, just so you understand the scale of your investment and confidence you have in us, I think we've proven that we're bringing a return on that. And the reason we do it is because of the relationship we have with council, like Chad, for example, with the concert series, and the relationship we have with the mayor and the rest of you as well. So that was just what I want to talk about the concert series. Chad might have more to discuss as well, so.
I think that's good. You know, like he was saying, I think you guys contribute 10,000 to our town. I think I'd like to see that bumped up to 20,000, just an extra 10 for the concert series or whatever lane he wants to put it in. I mean, I think it's a good investment. I think we're doing good things.
Here at the end of, or not the end, at the beginning of October, I'll send out the appropriation requests to the department heads and get you your timeline. So I think I looked, you know, they'll be out for first reading, like your first meeting in November, second, you know, so forth. And then, but probably that first meeting in November, I'll have to you, or even, no, excuse me, the last meeting in October, I'll have the draft of the appropriations for you. So if you guys have discussion on that, you tell me what to put in it and
As long as we don't have Ernest back.
I'll drop it in there.
One more thing.
You just can't quit.
No, I can't. I know that you guys out there, no report on this. So if anyone wants to get involved now in giving money and not waiting for our letter that'll go out here in a week or so, you can go to ourtowncoshocton.org, just comment that it's for the concert series. You can send us a check at PO Box 1633, Coshocton, Ohio 43812. Just put in the memo line that's for the concert series so we can earmark it. The Elks is in first and the Elks is in for 1,000. So I know a lot of people can do a lot more, especially some of these larger companies. We'll take the money, we'll make your name there big and bold, and you'll have contributed to something that's going to be a trend now in Coshocton, making it not just a location for people to come to, but an experience. And that's why we're doing it. So
Lanny, something that
Site.
Zanesville does for their summer series is they sell corporate tables.
Yeah.
That we could put on the street.
Mhm.
I don't know what they charge for those down there, but
See, we've talked about it. We're not real sure we have the room, you know, because now you're taking up, people want to get in front of the stage, you know, because we had a lot of people do that
Yeah.
this year. And so now you're taking that away from them. And, you know, we talked about that, and I don't know, I'd kind of like to keep it the way it is. I like the people on the streets dancing, being crazy, and, you know, if these big corporations want to donate $5,000-6,000 and I'll make the sign as big as I can, and I'll put your name on it right in front of the
That'd
stage.
be good too.
And, you know, and bring down your chair, I'll save you a spot. I'm usually there at 6 o'clock in the morning waiting on the stage to get there, and so.
Or carrying the band stuff up to the
You
stage.
know,
I mean,
You gotta
you
do
never
whatever
know.
it takes.
Yeah.
but-
If someone does want to be a presenting sponsor though, the Bechtel Fund was the presenting sponsor last time and they were in for 40,000. So if someone's curious how much they need to pay, it is going to be a serious check. But it also goes us and we are tax deductible to the extent of individual eligibility. So we will take the money and you can do the write-off and everyone wins. Huh?
The Scarecrow Shuffle.
Yes, we have that coming up as well on October 28th in the morning.
What is it?
The Scarecrow Shuffle. Actually, there's a story that's going to be going out about all of our events, but just hear the talk concert. Lots going on.
Then we request they bring their own ice chest, because Ernest stole my 2 ice chests.
Any questions about it can be referred to.
I don't know where those things.
I
have no idea.
there, I'm telling you.
All right, does anybody else have anything?
I will.
We got a
Let's go
committee.
get 'em.
Thanks, Lanny. Anyone else? Okay, we'll meet in council, in about 15 minutes.
I'm wondering if that biker's guy, the guy with the stage job,
I gotta-
because they have them full of water, you know.
Oh, yeah.
and they- They were tearing the stage down. I better it was late that night. It was,
We on.
that was 2 o'clock night that night.
No,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, that's what we think.
Right, well, yeah, we're
Today is Monday, September 12th, 2022 at 7 p.m. It's a regular scheduled city council meeting. Clerk, please call the roll.
Andrew here, Barcroft.
Here.
Rhodes.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Mishler.
Here.
Moore.
Here. I need a motion to excuse Councilwoman Michelle Turner Gans.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Andrews, yes. Barcroft.
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Mishler.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes. Please stand for the pledge and remain standing for the invocation of Mike Rose, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we again thank you for this opportunity. Pray that you would be with us tonight as we do the city business, and we pray this in your name. Amen.
Council, your email the minutes from the July 27th, 2022 council meeting. Any questions or comments?
Make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
Second. Clerk, please call the roll.
Andrews, yes. Barcroft.
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Mishler.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Public input. Have anybody here from the public wish to address council? So come forward to the mic, state your name, your address, please.
My name is Richard Frank. My address is 14 Mayberry Drive. And I'm here to ask for some consideration about the condition of the Roscoe Cemetery, the way it's been. Over July the 4th, it was bad. The lots were not mowed at all. If you would like, drive up tomorrow morning and look what they happened today. That the grass dried up like a hay windrow. I don't know why it happens that way. After July the 4th, I took my tractor mower over there to clean it up. Took my blower and blowed the cake grass off of the stones. Got it looking good. The other subject I'd like to ask about is over the top of Roscoe Hill. That road is terrible. It's dangerous. I'm sure someone sitting here may know that. I just think it should need some good attention. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Thank you, Mr. Franks. Okay, additions to the agenda. Council, I need a motion to untable ordinance 3922 for the third reading.
So moved.
Second, 29, I'm sorry, 29, and to untable 2922.
So moved.
Moore, second. Barcroft. Clerk, please call the roll.
Andrews. Yes. Barcroft.
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Mishler.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Ordinance 2922 is untabled and added to the agenda. Mayor, do you have anything to add from the committee meeting? I'm sure you do.
You know, I always have something to add.
Before you get started, council, I think it was my fault. I was emailed and I need to start emailing you the mayor's report. I know I got it for August with the building permits and the general fund and stuff. So I'll make sure I start emailing you that as well.
I'm glad you're taking the blame for it. Just want to finish up by saying, and Max touched on it, the fire department did a great job at Cleveland Cliffs. We also recently had a fire in the Red Sea. You know, just being out on fire scenes and seeing everyone working together is a joy to me and our guys, and I appreciate not only what our paid fire people do, but our unpaid volunteers do that show up every time. So also want to touch on the loss of our community over the last couple weeks. Not only Harold Hitchens, Jim Nelson, as well as former First Lady Helen Moody, and her claim to fame was she was not only married to a mayor, but she changed another mayor's diapers. So I will never forget her. Just a loss to our community. Want to reach out to people. I was on a Zoom call today, and really just think people need to get involved. There's a lot of the same people and the same faces on every board, but it's not intentional. Those people are the people that are serving. So I want to remind people, get involved, step up. This is your town, this is your city, this is your county. So I know the people who are on every board would appreciate help. So instead of doom and gloom and how bad it is, get off the couch and get involved. So a lot going on. I want to once again remind everyone, Standard Powers ribbon cutting, September 19th, 11 to 3. If you have questions of what they do or what's going on there, it's going to be the best venue. And I told them not to mention free lunch because they should have a couple thousand people there. So there is an RSVP. I noticed on City Hall's Facebook page we posted, and someone said that it didn't work. So we'll get rid of our technical difficulties, but if people show up, they're not going to be turned away. So if you have any further questions, just want to bring those couple things to light.
Any questions for the mayor? Safety Director, Max?
I have nothing to add from committee other than I'll echo the mayor's thoughts on, especially with Mr. Hitchens passing away. He was a friend of the city and done a lot of work out of the goodness of his heart that we didn't have to pay for, and he provided invaluable engineering assistance to us. So he will be missed. And in response to Mr. Frank's complaint, I'll address the Roscoe Cemetery situation tomorrow morning. And that street you're talking about is on the list for next year. So we'll get some patching done well into the winter. And but we have that on the list. Good. Finish that out to the city line out there by.
How it should have been done in the first place.
Yeah.
Anything else? Any questions for Max? Okay, Law Director, Council, you emailed the Law Director's report for July and August of 2022. Any questions for the Law Director? Bob, you have anything to add?
Beyond my report, nothing.
You. Auditor's report, full list of things. Your email, the reports. Sarah, you have anything to add? Any other comments?
I will just let you know, it's not very often do you get a detailed voided check report. And it was for the $20,000 report on the 829. It was just one single item on there. That check was the pay to the order of, they needed to have it in a different manner. So it was voided and reissued. You'll see it reissued under September report. So that was unusual. If you have any questions, I have my reports. If not, just need to be approved in the minutes.
Any questions?
Make a motion that we accept the July and August reports.
Andrews? Made a motion?
One second.
Johnson second. Clerk, please call the roll.
Andrews? Yes. Barcroft?
Yes.
Gross?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Mishler?
Yes.
Moore?
Yes.
Sheriff's report. Your email the Sheriff's report, Council, for the month of August. Any questions or comments for Sheriff Crawford?
I just, I received an email late Friday night, and I did send that on, put that on to the sheriff, and I appreciate your response to that email. I don't know if either one got a friendly response back, but it doesn't matter. He sent information that showed the patrolling in that area, the calls they had responded to. It was, very accurate in his response, so I appreciate your help in that. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Any questions? Anything else?
Nothing bad.
Nothing to add? Good, okay. I think with that, we'll go into legislation. I think everything we have needs to be passed tonight. I'll ask the clerk to give the first reading of ordinance 3822.
An ordinance to authorize and direct the mayor of the city of Coshocton pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 370908 to enter into a contract establishing a Coshocton Public Health District for the delivery of public health services to both the city of Coshocton and the county of Coshocton.
For the first reading of ordinance 3822, any questions or comments? I'll need a motion to suspend the rules and skip the second reading, go directly to the third of ordinance 3822.
I'll make a motion to suspend the rules and give it we're gonna skip the second, we're gonna give it a third.
Okay, Johnson.
I'll second.
Mishler. I'll ask the clerk to give the third reading of ordinance 3822.
An ordinance to authorize and direct the mayor of the city of Coshocton, Ohio pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 370908 to enter into a contract establishing a Coshocton Public Health District for the delivery of public health services to both the city of Coshocton and the county of Coshocton.
Any questions or comments? The question is, should ordinance 3822 pass? Clerk, please call the roll.
Andrews. Yes. Barcroft.
Yes.
Gross.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Mishler.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Ordinance 3822 is passed. I'll ask the clerk to give the first reading of ordinance 3922.
An ordinance authorizing the safety service director to enter into an agreement and sign all documents with Cellco Partnership, DBA Verizon Wireless for the construction of a cell tower in the city of Coshocton.
For the first reading of ordinance 3922, any questions or comments?
Make a motion to suspend the rules and go directly to third reading.
Second. She worded that way, but.
She did.
Yeah, she did. Clerk, please give a third reading of ordinance 3922.
An
Oh,
ordinance-
I'm sorry. You need to call the roll, please.
Andrews. Yes. Barcroft.
Yes.
Gross.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Mishler.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Clerk, please give the third reading of ordinance 3922.
An ordinance authorizing the safety service director to enter into an agreement and sign all documents with Cellco Partnership, DBA Verizon Wireless for the construction of a cell tower in the city of Coshocton.
Questions or comments? Question is, should ordinance 3922 pass? Clerk, please call the roll.
Andrews. Yes. Barcroft.
Yes.
Gross.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Mishler.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Ordinance 3922 is passed. We'll ask the clerk to give the first reading of ordinance 4022.
Transfer.
For the first reading of ordinance 4022, are there any questions or comments?
I'll make a motion, we suspend the rules and give ordinance 4022 a third reading.
Moore. Gross. Clerk, please call the roll.
Andrews. Yes. Barcroft.
Yes.
Gross.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Mishler.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Clerk, please give the third reading of ordinance 4022.
Transfer.
Any questions or comments? The question is, should ordinance 4022 pass? Clerk, please call the roll.
Andrews. Yes. Barcroft.
Yes.
Gross.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Mishler.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Ordinance 4022 is passed. First reading, I'll ask the clerk to give the first reading of ordinance 4122.
Appropriation.
For the first reading of ordinance 41-22, any questions or comments?
Make a motion to suspend the rules and go directly to a third reading.
Johnson. Second. Barcroft. Clerk, please call the roll.
Andrews. Yes. Barcroft.
Yes.
Gross.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Mishler.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Questions or comments? Question is, should ordinance 4122 pass? Clerk, please call the roll.
Andrews. Yes. Barcroft.
Yes.
Gross.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Mishler.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Ordinance 4122 is passed. We have no legislation at the second reading. Legislation at the third reading. I'll ask the clerk to give the third reading of ordinance 2922.
An ordinance to amend section 135503 of the ordinances of the city of Coshocton.
For the third reading of ordinance 2922, the question is, should ordinance 2922 pass? Clerk, please call the roll.
Andrews. Yes. Barcroft.
Yes.
Gross.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Mishler.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
We have no resolutions, no old business, new business, communications. I'd also, I mentioned in committee, Glenn, we're glad to have you back. I know you're not 100%, you're on the mend. You look a lot better and sound a lot better than you did earlier. Keep fighting the fight. Welcome back. I know this, you represent a lot of people. Clerk, do we have any other communications?
Mr. President, I do have one communication from the Coalition for a Safer Ohio regarding issue 1. Proposed amendment will require courts to consider public safety by including the factors for determining the amount of bail directly. So I will, did the rest of the council get that
Yes.
information? All right, so maybe we should put that on for our next meeting to approve a resolution in support of that.
Yeah, and I'm in favor of that all as well.
I'll
So,
talk to the law director.
I wanna, can I say something real quick?
Sure.
I mean,
Real
it's only
quick.
7:15. But I just want to say thank you for the vote for the health department. It's historic. Like it's without, it's definitely, I just need a couple other people. The county needs to sign off on. We'll be hopefully by the beginning of the year. That's my goal, if all goes well. So it's kind of out of my hands now.
Keep trying to improve the city, Mayor. Thank you. Okay. At this time, I need a motion for council to go into executive session with the auditor, service director, and the utilities director to discuss purchase of real estate.
So moved.
Moore, Johnson, clerk, please call the roll.
Andrews. Yes. Barcroft.
Yes.
Gross.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Mishler.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Okay, there will be no business to follow. No action to follow, so you can leave if you want.
No, he didn't say all correct. I think you're fair.